dragon wakes up, it sets off that ring of fire all the way around the North Atlantic going into Europe, back down going into North Africa. Right? So these are dragon paths, as we call them. We use the term dragon. Anything that represents mastery is a dragon, because you have to slay the dragon to master any topic. Mm-hmm. Right? So the one who's at the top seat, he is the dragon now. Right? He's the one speak with the fire of an open throat chakra and a synchronized root chakra. And if he really good, he have a full chakra activation from the root to the crown. And when he speaketh the dragon, it's more effective in waking more people up. Mm-hmm. Right? Those were your Nagas kings. When the culture changed, we went from being dragons to eagles and hawks. We went from being eagles and hawks to being elephants and lions. We had different things that represent mastery at different times. And the dragon came from the Nagas lines, who came from another energy signature tied to the Draco's constellation, where they actually was raising and trading and taming dragons. Mm-hmm. The ones that we call dinosaurs. The Inky bred dinosaurs for the Andromeda beings, the hardest part of a galactic treaty. And when they time ran up, what they do? Blew this motherfucker up all over. Nuclear winter, get rid of them. Mm-hmm. But we still got dinosaurs. But we don't call them dinosaurs no more. We don't call them dragons no more. Now we call them crocodilians.
Komodo dragon.
Yep. Yep. And then you got mini dragons. They got one that's actually spits some stuff like fire in South America. Mm-hmm. You know, but he only had long. So we ain't scared of him. Mm-hmm. We ain't big enough to burn the building down.
It's like a little bird. It fly. It's like a little bird entity. Like,
it's a lizard.
Yeah, but it was able to. I think it had like wings or something.
I'm not sure. I don't remember. I haven't seen it. I haven't looked at it in a long time to give you all of the details. But I do know that it's there, and it do spit fire or fiery secretions from his mouth. They burn.
Mm-hmm. Hey, how you talked about that Iberian lynx that popped up? Mm-mm. Yeah, it popped up the same day where Three-Eye Atlas was right behind the sun that created the Hyperion. And the Hyperion is what was the precursor to all those geomagnetic, storms and everything that was taking place, as far as like, all these plasma vortexes opening up from the magnetosphere.
I was more taken back that it was an Iberian sphinx or lynx.
You said, excuse me?
I was more taken back that it was an Iberian lynx. The lynx is a North American cat.
Yeah, it was a white one that showed up the same day that the.
Where's the Iberian Peninsula at?
I'm not sure where they located it.
That's Spain.
Yeah, it was in Spain. Yes, it was in Spain.
And that's why I said the lynx is normally a North American cat.
Okay.
And I've been trying to have some kind of like, where is this going with this? But I know they call ghost animals when they born out with albinism like that. Mm-hmm. And some of them, it's so rare that when you see them, you know there's something spectacular going on spiritually. Like the white giraffes they had. Mm-hmm. The white buffalo.
Yeah, they say lucidic animals is also a representation of the end, because it's the end of that biological entity's genetic format. So as far as like, you ever read the book, what is it called? Fuck, it's a Hebrew Israelite book, but it goes into like Levitical law and the book of Leviticus, and how they talk about how leprosy in itself is a representation of the ending of a cycle. And when you see that takes place, when you're talking about like totem animals or whatever, it's a representation of the fact that the cosmic energy grid, the fifth dimension, merging in with the third dimension of what we call new heaven and the new earth. So that it kind of goes into that. So they say when a lot of animals, albino animals, pop up, a lot of times it's seen as an omen in indigenous cultures.
So what they describe is called genetic genetic deterioration. It's entropy in the genome. Okay, now over a period of time, the Earth, with human resonance in the sun, has to reset the genetics of all of the species on the planet. Certain animals is going to be upgraded, and then they're going to start taking on a human form. They won't be born to that species of animal anymore. They'll go extinct. But the spirit that was dwelling in that animal now is going to be upgraded to sentient being, and now they can take on the physiology of a human. This is all metaphysical folklore. I don't know. I do know that the Earth has to upgrade our genetics. This is in too many ancient records. I know that it's done through the blast of the Schumann resonance up on the receipt of a major solar burst, a solar storm.
Great solar flash.
Right. So when you study in genetics and what causes genetics to suddenly change is blasts of radiation. It don't change on its own. They got to get this blast of radiation. Well, the program comes from scan the genome of all species, find all genetic defects. This is a mitochondrial function that only the women do. So every woman that ever gave birth to a defective child was doing so in order to record the anomaly for correction in later children. If there's nobody recording the anomaly, it can't get corrected because nobody know it exists. But as soon as it becomes known to exist, she has a record in her biology of what the defect is and what caused it. So she'll be giving birth to children, or somebody in her family will be giving birth to children that has the genetic makeup or recovery program for that defect. And this is Y chromosome, this is X chromosome, both of the chromosomes are being scanned by mitochondria for defects. The majority of the defects comes from the Y chromosome having a deficient amount of genetic material to properly transfer a full genome script to the female that's receiving the child. And if we don't straighten up...
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I'm having some complications with the intro, man. They be tripping. But welcome back. You know what I'm saying? We got the master teacher, the elder, back with us, and we're going to be breaking down the metaphysical dynamics when you're talking about the rabbit hole, because it all corresponds with the geopolitical apparatus and the cosmological timeline that also corresponds with our genetic format. So we finna break it down tonight. We finna crack some codes. So everybody in the chat, welcome back to Elder, Rod Hayes. So everybody in the chat, put the rice bowls and put those apes in the chat. Yeah, we got a lot to discuss tonight, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Where you want to start at? You got all these geomagnetic energies coming to the planet. You got Elon Musk talking about the rabbit hole and how the rabbit is out the hat. You got all the stuff that's taking place with the penny that's out of circulation. There's a lot of shit going on. So where we finna start at tonight? You know what I'm saying?
Well, the first thing we got to make mention of is the internet was like all out early in the morning in multiple places. People were reporting internet outages.
Facts. Yep.
When they do stuff like that, that's a tester to see what the reaction gonna be, right? And they judge by the flow of the algorithm what the reaction gonna be.
Okay.
Right. When I did a Young Elder the other day, we was talking about the green aura that was around the Earth for that returning love energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then the earth was vibrating at the heart chakra. When we got done with that class, the next day it was violet, crown chakra.
Yep.
Right? So we hit the nail on the head because when you go from the heart chakra straight to the crown chakra, that's what you call the heart link to the heavens.
Right.
So then we got the sun got a big old butterfly symbol in it, looked like a reverse Batman symbol.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right? Butterfly is the symbol for transformation. So they're telling us that there's a transformation in progress based off the recent solar activity. Mm-hmm. Remember, we was getting blasted by solar storms last week, and the shooting resonance been off the chain. And this is why we're seeing these color shifts in the Aurora Borealis. Fuck to pronounce it correctly, I always butcher it. Mm-hmm. But the lights, the northern lights, was being seen in southern states in the United States, which is rare. Mm-hmm. Which means it's a large mass coronal interference in the Van Allen belt, right? And it's the gamma rays that turn it green, mm-hmm. right? And then it's the ultra, I think it's called ultra gamma rays that goes into your purples and reds, mm-hmm. right? But we talking now, we not root chakra, we heart chakra, crown chakra. So we got a lot of stuff going on, and now we got to unpack what is it telling us. Because the whole thing is about, we see these stellar events, solar events, we see the shooting resonance events, we see this political stuff playing out, and you know they always call a new field of study the rabbit hole.
Yep.
And our first introduction to the rabbit hole in most people's childhood is Alice in Wonderland.
That's a fact. Matter of fact, I'm going to put something up for you.
So Alice sat on the mushroom, sipping.
That's a fact.
Right? When she seen the white rabbit, she took her down into the rabbit hole, which was her adventures of Alice in Wonderland. Wonderland is another way of saying your subconscious realm.
That's a fact.
Because the psilocybin opens up the subconscious realm so that you can consciously process it. That's why they call it hallucinations.
And then, you know, not only that, you know, the rabbit in itself is also a representation. When you get into the esoterics, the rabbit hole can be associated with Ophiuchus. So that's when you get into, you know, the number 67. They talk about the number 67 is pretty much the most intrinsic definition in all throughout the year of 2025, because it's the resurrection of the 13. So when you go down the rabbit hole, you're actually connected to yourself to the womb of creation, which is also associated with Ophiuchus, like I said, because I think Ophiuchus is in between November 29th into December 17th. So there's a resurrection and a rebirth energy here on the planet, and they telling you within the political infrastructure, because you ever seen that video when Donald Trump, he kept on talking about he's building the ark.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the ark in itself is also a representation of the global turning point that's connected to Charlie Kirk, which is the fall of the church. So the royal ark in itself is a representation of a resurrection process, because it coincides with the 47 problem of Euclid. So the 47 in the ark coincides with Noah, right? So Noah, when you break down the word from the etymological standpoint in ancient Hebrew, it means the mind. Noah means mind, and then you got the arcs or the angels of light coming down to the planet that hits the mind. So it's actually talking about a form of mind science technology when you get into the 47. And matter of fact, I'm gonna pull this up for you because I remember we was on the phone the other day, and I was telling you about the movie Sneakers. This movie came out, I think it was in 1984, that also coincides with the timeline with Donald Trump, with Donnie Darko talking about the bunny, because in the movie, not the movie, but the book, Baron Trump's Adventure, he was stuck in a fixed position reality in 1984 when this movie came out. And then you see it got XRP when I was doing my independent research. And then it's at the security code, you see the 47 right here. That also coincides with the Royal Ark of Freemasonry, that also coincides with the global turning point. And then you also got to watch the damn movie. There's a reason why they put this movie back on Netflix, Ready Player One, because the inception of the destruction that took place when you're talking about the Great Purification, it started in the year of 2027. That's when the world ended in the movie. But it was certain dates they had from November. I think it was from November 17th to the 29th. It was something that took place within the movie that also coincides with the timeline that we're in right now. So that's why I keep telling people the movies is also acclimated to the timeline, because it's actually telling an esoteric story. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of stuff to look at when it comes to that.
When you look at the position of Hollywood and DC on opposite sides of the land, it becomes critical to the understanding of what a political satire is.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us don't know that all they're doing in DC is political satire.
That's
right. Fact. That's why you see stuff like this.
Yep. This is the guy. Yep.
Yeah. So this is telling you about the satire, because if you look here, you see Elon Musk is dressed like what?
A bunny rabbit.
A jester.
Yep.
He dressed like a magician, a jester, a court entertainer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But then you see the molecular symbol for the bunny up there that comes from the adrenochrome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, the rabbit out the hat mean exposing the magic trick.
Facts. Babylonian blood magic.
Yep. So when they pull the rabbit out the hat, they saying this is the magic trick. So they're showing you the trick, the deception.
And the deception is in itself is connected to, the de facto corporation in itself, because all the corporations, as what I call the middleman, which is the devil, which is a form of instant gratification, they use it as a mechanism, like we talked about last year when we broke down the blood magic.
Mm-hmm.
Blood magic coincides with the rabbit. So when you follow the rabbit, you're going to follow the corporations that actually extracts the energy from, humanity, as far as like what we call the loosh, which is a form of human data. But that's the most intrinsic resource on the planet is human data. That's what the archons have to feed on. So that's why I was, I had this theory, you already know about the whole 1934 when they created Social Security and things of that nature, and they created the numbers and the community uniform security and stuff. When it comes to that, that's when, they turned us into humanoid real estate. So it was actually one of those things where the corporation in itself is being used as a catalyst to cause the reset by eliminating humanity, because in order to reset the debt, you have to eradicate, about 7.7 billion people. That coincides with the Georgia Guidestones when they said they want to maintain humanity at 500 million, even though, they got destroyed also.
Yeah, that was because their plan failed.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first thing that we got to do to show that their plan failed is get rid of the stones. You didn't win, so you can't say what we gonna do on Earth because you lost.
Facts. Yep.
Right. So another thing about that rabbit and that blood magic, right? Remember, the rabbit is the symbol for fertility.
Yep.
Tied to Ishtar.
Mm-hmm.
Right. One of the symbols for Ishtar is she have a statue and she's covered in mammary glands all the way down to her ankles. Right. So that's the mother that feeds the nations.
Okay.
It's a representation of a sacerdotal seat. The irony of it is you brought up 67. That's Empress Redbird's birth year.
Oh, wow. And she got the allodial title to the land, right?
Right. But that's their surrender. The allodial title don't mean nothing to us. It means something to them.
Right. Because we don't really paper.
Right. So in order for them to acknowledge her blood, right, they got to give her the paperwork. They letting them know that we know who you is. Let us finish cleaning this up, and we gonna make sure everybody else know who you is too. But we first have to give you this recognition so you will know that your work was being done.
So what does that kind of fall in line with the whole 1776 thing? Because they came out with the last circulation of the penny that also coincides with Philadelphia, because that's where they stopped it at after 232 years, which is a anagram for 322, which is the what's that, Skull and Bones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So one of the things about 1776, that's the Boston Massacre. Right? That's when they harvested the blood of Crispus Attucks. Then they got to do their conjure work on it in order to turn it into ink. When they turn it into the ink, it becomes self-actualizing. They call it the first blood of the righteous in a conflict. They always have to let you know who the first blood of the righteous, or the person that was the rightful heir whose blood was used for the conjure, has to be always kept in the forefront. So they gave us this fanciful story about some half African that who set it off in the American Revolution with the Boston Massacre. And if you really think about it, this is why the Boston wear red socks, because they was walking through the massacre, the blood of the massacre.
Wow. And so is that part of the Red Shoe Club and the Pilgrim Society?
So the Red Shoe Club comes from Europe, from Spain.
Okay.
And the shoes that was originally being made, that was dyed red, was made out of human skin. And that's what made the leather for the red shoe so valuable. The red bottom shoe is a different shoe. It represents people who walked across the bloody floor. Wow,
okay.
Right. So they walk across the bloody floor, they leave a red footprint, which is a bloody footprint. Only it's not a footprint, it's a handprint. And it's only one place to find it. On the indigenous rebellion, where they put the red paint across their mouth because of the colonizers that was stealing the women in order to impregnate them to infiltrate bloodlines. So that's what you see when you see those girls, those native girls, right, with the red hand on their face. That's what they talking about. They're talking about the kidnapping of the native women. Those women were brought over here as Huns, but when they got over here and was re-educated, they became Native Americans.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that kind of reminds me of that volleyball symbol when you're talking about what took place with the little people in DC. And they had one of the symbols was of it looks like a hand. It looked like a hand that was covered in blood, and they put it over a soccer ball or a volleyball. And I think
that's it was a Frazzle Drip.
Yeah.
That's a Frazzle Drip. That comes from Tom Hanks in Lost, I think was the name of the movie.
Yep.
Right, and you see Ellen DeGeneres wearing it on her hoodie, and some people wearing it dressed as that in like award shows, dressed up like Frazzle Drip.
Yeah, they do all that. It's like transgressive. It's like high end fashion, but they use like biological fluids and biological parts of things.
It's actually called horror fashion.
Right.
If you look up horror fashion, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a whole genre. But in this case, their secret society is telling on somebody. Without telling the general public that they telling on somebody, they just start, the imagery pops up.
That's a fact.
We got to be savvy enough to say, what are these people telling us with this Frazzle Drip handprint, bloody handprint? So most people don't know what frazzle drip is. They don't know about the Podesta files and the insurance policy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They only concerned about this dude right here. He was a Mossad CIA asset.
That's a fact.
He replaced somebody who passed away from old age. The only reason why we know that is because when they went through the videos on Epstein Island, they go all the way back to the 30s on the island. So who was in Hollywood in the 30s that you can go back and you can track it? All the ones that didn't want to play ball end up getting blackballed out of the industry.
That's a fact. And you know another thing that's crazy about this? 2 videos ago, and this is just based on my independent research and my own, conspiracy theories or whatever. Just like I tell people all the time, in order to beat the Matrix, you got to go within the Matrix in order to get out. That's when you go down the rabbit hole. But the rabbit hole in itself is also being embedded inside of the simulation so much to the point where you're able to extract the information. So what I'm saying is that, within the video game, I said 2 videos ago, I said that there's going to be a link and there's going to be an emulation of what took place on Epstein Island, and they're putting it inside the video game of Grand Theft Auto. And there's going to be a mission in the game where it's going to show you the true link, and it's going to show you the actual list of what took place. And it's supposed to be some hackers that's putting the link inside this video game that's supposed to be coming out in November 19th of 2026. But they pushed it back the day after I said that they're going to put the link in the game, and they pushed it back from the spring of 2026 to the November, literally the next day. So it's kind of because you play video games, Rod?
No.
Now this is important because in the last Grand Theft Auto, they show you the Statue of, I think it's Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5. The Statue of Liberty is actually Hillary Clinton. And then when you go inside, it shows like the heart beating or whatever, which is also a representation of a corporate infrastructure that placated on humanity, based in blood magic and things of that nature. So it shows you that. So it seems like there's a mockery that's taking place within the political apparatus when you're talking about the new republic that's coming from the Trump administration. It seems like they're working with, a lot of these video game videographers, and they put a lot of the information inside there. So I've been looking into some of that stuff because there's a mission in the game that actually it shows you the emulation of Epstein Island.
Yeah, so a lot of the stuff they put it in various different places.
Mm-hmm.
By me not being a gamer, I won't see a lot of what they put in the games.
Right.
But I used to watch a lot of movies growing up, so a lot of the stuff I see now was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You brought up the year 1984. You remember where you brought it up?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up for you right now, Rod. I got you. Where is it at? Did I put it in here? I thought I did. I can bring it up, but I know that it's actually talking about a totalitarian order in that movie.
Okay, so the year 1984 is what you were talking about earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Okay, now the year 1984 also is where George Orwell's book was designated as 1984.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Then George Orwell's book, his teacher was Aldous Huxley,
mm-hmm.
who wrote A Brave New World. Right? And one of his socialites, Aldous Huxley's socialites, who also was good friends later on with George Orwell, name was Ayn Rand, and she wrote the Atlas Shrugged. Right? Now, there's also 1984, which is Rex 84, Readiness Exercise, 1984. So it's all connecting to a time frame.
Yep.
Right? So when you go back and look what was going on in 84, Reaganomics.
Yep.
Reaganomics was going on in 84, and Project Hope where they've created Focus Hope to give government stored food to the public that was having food problems. Mm-hmm. Ronald Reagan took office. He said that he had no idea of the level of hungry people it was in America when they got all this food that they had in storage to feed the American people. Mm. They took a percentage of it out because it's primarily for the military use, but it's an excessive surplus enough to feed the American public for up to a year before it starts to run low. It's 300 and something million people, almost 400 million people in America. So they got enough food in reserves, canned and stored, air sealed and packed tight, waiting for distribution. Whose job is it going to be when the grocery stores close down to distribute the food rations to the public?
Shit, it should be the church. Shit.
Church is going to be gone.
I know, but shit, they're supposed to be a storehouse.
So in the time of crisis, it activates a joint committee of National Guard, FEMA, and several other government agencies to mobilize the National Guard's troops to set up warehouses to distribute the food to the people of the certain areas. Mm-hmm. So this is why you got Michigan National Guard. People in Detroit don't know it, but they sitting right there waiting to be deployed. They already here. Mm. Chicago know they there. They've been filming them coming in. Memphis know they there. DC know they there. Philly know they there. Right? LA know they there. San Diego know they there. San Francisco know they there. Right? So most of the people is unaware that if they can maintain their cool in this crisis that they finna manufacture, we not supposed to give it no thought. Let the government shut down. Fuck the government. That's how we gotta see it. Mm-hmm. Close it down. Shut it down. Let's see what you gonna do next. Because if we don't put a challenge to them to produce, they gonna keep on running games on us. Cyclic games. Mm-hmm. They run them in a loop.
Yep. And I'm glad you brought up the loop because that coincides with my 589 research when you're talking about the variable God, because it represents the transmutation process of deviate from the corporate legal fiction by going back into natural law, which is common law for the people. So that's why I was saying, by way of the law of reciprocity, everything has to come full circle, which is 360 degrees of the closing of the age that was connected to the maritime law. So that's why I said we're in a time of rebuilding right now, because everything within their infrastructure has to collapse, whether if it's a synthetic reset or if it's something that's, being extracted from the cosmos and Mother Nature. So, right. And I showed you some of this right here the other day. I think it was the top one, because the bearable God is supposed to be playing Donald Trump. So it's really just showing you, it's really just kind of like based on the timeline. It's showing you the.
Is that supposed to be a bear?
Yep, it's a bear. Yep, it's the bearable God.
That's the symbol for Cali too.
Oh, for California.
Yeah, California symbol is a bear, and it's on the tip of his nose is a 5-point star.
Wow. I'm just now peeping game off that. See, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, you go pull the California flag up and see it. It's right there on the flag.
Let me see if I can pull it up. Cause my computer, I need to get me a different computer. My shit's slow. Hold on, let me see.
Now, while you pulling it up, most of us don't know that's what you call an open public contract between 5 tribes.
Okay.
The symbol that they all have in common is the bear totem. We used to call them the bear clans.
Facts.
Then they gave us something called Bornstein Bears. 3 little bears. All it is to keep the bear totem active in the mind of the people so that the bear clan can reclaim their birthright.
Man, I'm glad you brought that up, because check this out, right? Because I got this in here too. In the Because I know Russia, they just been found. Where is it at? Yeah, here we go. Russia is also they represent the bear as well when you get into like the metaphysics of the Bible or whatever. But it talks about the Russian military spy ship, like so that coincides with the movie Red Dawn. Like, remember we broke that shit down too.
Yeah, but see, you got to know where this Russian ship. Remember the Russian ship that went to Cuba about 2 years ago? They was dropping off prisoners to Gitmo. Everybody keep thinking that this is only America that's cleaning up the land. It's going on all over the world.
That's a fact. Is this it right here, Rod?
It's the that's the bear.
Okay.
Now, if you look up, you see the 5-point star?
Yeah.
There was the 5 tribes. Now, the reason why they used the 5-point star, the point being each tribe is they all matriarchal tribes.
Mm-hmm.
The bear is the chief being instructed by the women, the 5 matriarchal tribes. They got chiefs. Each tribe got a chief, and then they get together. The one who qualified to lead whatever they doing as a collective is the chief that takes the lead. Right. And that's why you see guys walking on the green grass. Cali is desert.
That's a fact. Yep. People ain't gonna catch it.
That's because they represent law land. Land law, not admiralty law. The only reason why they came up with a flag is because some people came from Europe with the law of the flag. So we went from totem poles and wampum belts to flying flags too.
Yeah, I'm trying to get back to the bear. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it shows you within the art. I keep telling people, man, like the algorithm is telling you every time. They tell you in every movie. They tell you in every magazine, like what time it is, and motherfuckers just think it's entertainment. And I know you've seen or heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is most likely one of those land masses that's emerging from under the ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because even when I get into my own independent research in itself, and it's actually connected to the ancient, energy grid system, which is what we call the tectonic cycle. So you're going to get a lot of, sedimentary rock formation. And then they were saying that, the people that live within that geographical area of Zealandia, it was the Melanesian people, and it was also the people that was connected to Lemuria, which is also connected to the Lost Continent of Mu. I got that book, Lost Continent of Mu. So it actually talks about New Zealand within that publication. It doesn't talk about it in the article too much, but it also talks about New Zealand and how they were.
So pull up a map of the South Pacific Ocean.
Okay.
You're going to notice that at one time it was a land bridge from the South Pacific to Hawaii.
All right, South Pacific Ocean. Everybody put them rice bowls in the chat in them apes in there. All right.
From this shit, and it's to prevent this defect and that defect, and they fucking your baby up on your watch because you don't know what the fuck going on. Because women used to know. Women used to know everything about their bodies because that was the first thing mothers taught daughters. Understand your body. Understand you got an innie, and it's a responsibility to come with that. That innie is a micro universe. It will bring forth life from nowhere. It's going to duplicate the creation of the overall creation that we live in right there in your body. And they caught the women teaching that shit. They started killing them, and they called it the witch hunts. This is what they was teaching Yoni science how to override all this bullshit we've been dealing with. This is why they was killing them women. They wasn't killing them motherfucking women because they was scared a witch gonna cast a spell on them. Them niggas was up there casting spells too. They was killing them women because they couldn't beat them at spell cast. You had to kill them in the physical to try to stop the work they was doing on the spiritual. And then they had to stop doing that because they found out sending them to the spiritual was the wrong fucking place to send them. Then they started putting them in cages and boxes. And making sure they don't have no motherfucking shit to work with. Start taking their recipe books. Because your family recipe, you got healing motherfucking recipes. Your grandmama used to cook this every year about the same time because this is going to stop you from catching pneumonia and the flu, motherfuckers. But y'all don't eat that shit no more because you don't like it because you can't go to McDonald's and get it. That's why your ass sick now. We got to come up with an understanding of what we face with. Because once you can see it, it can only win if you surrender on your own. But as long as you can't see it, it's going to whoop your ass to damn near death. And some of y'all, it's going to take all the way out because you can't see it. You don't know what you up against. And the sad part about it is when you see it, the hard part is getting somebody else to put the goddamn glasses on. Because don't nobody want these motherfuckers. Because once you put them on, you can't unsee this shit. And when you can't unsee this shit, you only get two options. Accept it or change it. And it's only one way to change it. By telling everybody what the fuck you see when you don't want to tell them. Motherfuckers don't know how bad I hate the internet. Motherfuckers don't know how bad I hate the internet gossip. I hate this shit so motherfucking bad. But because my people is more important than the shit that I hate, I can use this motherfucker effectively. Based on military strategy and based on the laws of nature. Nature says always follow the path of least resistance and you will find infinite growth. But just because it's the path of least resistance does not mean there is no resistance. Because the obstacle is the way still. So you still got to walk through the valley of the shadow of death around the traps and the snares and the pitfalls set for you. That's not going to change. But the way that we are trained to adapt is what has to change. When they asked Martin, what's the best thing we can do? He said, organize, baby, organize. Build, baby, build. See, we see the infiltration, right? And this is why a lot of the times we accuse the people that was doing the most work of being a provocateur. But I'm going to tell you this. A provocateur is going to act just like a war general. But he ain't. He don't got no strategy. He's just trying to rabble rouse. They had a term. If you look up the history of the word or the term rabble rouser, it'll help you out understand what them motherfuckers is. They call them firebrands. That's what they call Vernon Johns, the one that had the Dexter Avenue Baptist Church before Martin King came in. He got kicked out by the SCLC. He's my cousin, by the way. My mama maiden name is Johns. And, anyway, so Vernon Johns, they called him a firebrand because he did a lecture. And the name of the lecture was It's Safe to Kill Negroes in Montgomery. He had another one too. I don't remember the name of the other lecture. But when them two lectures came out, them more coward ass SCLC deacons was like, oh no, we got to do something about this nigga. Sound like Malcolm. We can't have no Christian Malcolm. We hard enough we got a Muslim Malcolm. We can't have two of them niggas on the same thing. Martin was studying Mohandas K. Gandhi. Mohandas K. Gandhi was a Indian nationalist. He didn't care 2 drops of a bucket of shit about an African. And he got his degree to practice law from South Africa. Ain't that something? He said there and watched the same oppression the people in India was faced with in South Africa, going through the same thing on both places. He didn't care about the struggle of the ones in Africa. He cared about the struggle of the ones in India. And everybody say that he was racist because of it. But here's my thing. I can't fight Africa's war when I know I'm American. But I can lend them moral support from where I'm at while I'm fighting my war. Hey, brother, I see you over there, Ibrahim Traore. I see you, Julius Malema. You know, I seen them. I seen what happened to Patrice Lumumba. I seen what happened to Kwame Ture. I seen what happened to all of them. But right now, I got to deal with this. When we get done fighting over here, if y'all need some help, we'll send y'all some shit. Y'all got to get them motherfucking infiltrators out, though. Y'all know they tried coup on Ibrahim Traore in the motherfucking military. Busted that motherfucker out a little over a month ago. Right? So, we had 7 failed governments in the last 12 months in the world. Major governments. You can Google them, it'll tell you what they is. Then we have a failed coup attempt in China. Failed coup attempts multiple over the last year in Burkina Faso. They doing, now I tell these niggas over here, since you so pro-African, join Ibrahim Traore, use whatever skill you got to help that motherfucker get them colonizers out and get the fuck out our way. So we can deal with the American shit that these black ass nappy head Americans that been here the whole fucking time. We can deal with our shit. All you motherfuckers that want to be in Africa, go over there. If we can't get free to Africa, get free. We gonna figure out a way to get Donald Trump to get you niggas some plane tickets to go help. We gonna start a Freedom to Africa bus line. We'll build a road to that motherfucker to help y'all get there, cause we got to get this back. Y'all want to help Africa? Go to Africa where the fight at. Don't stand down the street with a bullhorn talking about you for the Africans. Go over there where the rubber meet the road at, where they need you the most. Go build some fucking wells, right? Feed some babies over there or something. Stop standing over here getting on our social media platforms telling us we Africans and we need to be worried about Africa. Get your ass to Africa and help the Africans. That's what you need to be doing. That's what you need to be doing. You tell me what I need to be. You don't want to be black. Motherfucker, I'm a red ass nigga. I'm a dark red nigga. Mississippi clay dirt walking. I can't be nothing else. I don't want to be nothing else. It ain't nothing in this world to me better than being Mississippi clay dirt walking. Only other thing I could have been that makes sense is Alabama or Georgia or Arkansas. But this motherfucking clay dirt walking, this some good shit. This some good shit. Them niggas out there trying to lure us out there, that's not our fight. Anybody trying to lure us out there, they automatically suspect to me. And I just got done watching somebody on the special about Tariq Nasheed. I believe in redemption. I believe in forgiveness. And I believe in giving a motherfucker an opportunity and a chance to show their true colors. I am 100% aware that the black church falling and the conscious community rising mean that all of the parasites from the church is going to shift over to the conscious community. Because it's the same parasitic energy trying to attack the same people the same. The motherfucking, pimp. My cousin was a pimp when I was little. He retired now, but he used to tell me, he said, man, you a pimp in the streets, but you're not really pimping till you get a church. Man, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? That's the craziest shit I ever heard. Then he get mad because he said, God damn it, that nigga Don Juan beat me to it. This motherfucker got a church before me. And I'm like, what the fuck is he? This is some weird shit. I didn't know that you only supposed to pimp for so long and then you're supposed to open the church because that's their program. Now, the pimp gang, they not going to church no more. Where do you get your pimp hustle off? Go to the goddamn conscious community. These diet woke motherfuckers and the ones that want to be woke, they'll feed our coffers. That's why I don't ask a motherfucker for nothing. If a motherfucker send me $1, I am the most grateful motherfucker you ever seen. But I ain't finna ask a motherfucker for shit. Cause I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this for my motherfucking people to get their shit back. And these motherfuckers in there trying to turn it into a hustle, a payday. Don't get me wrong, I believe in reciprocity. I believe if you feel like, because this is the law of the priest. A priest or a healer is never supposed to have what's called a surcharge. A surcharge is, for you to use my services, it costs you this much. No, that's not how this shit works. The real healers, the real priests, the Earthborn, the Delphi priestesses, the daughters of Isis, the daughters of Kali, all of the females priestesses never charged for nothing. They gave away everything for free. But the people that came understood one thing. If they can give it away for free and it's this valuable to me, I got to give something back or I ain't gonna feel right. It's the difference between matriarchy and patriarchy. Heaven on earth is under matriarchy. Hell on earth is under patriarchy. We've been fighting this war for 6,000 years. It just so happened to end in America. And the crown of America is Greenland, y'all. The pineal gland is that motherfucking, they call it a Stargate, but it's not actually a Stargate. But it's a piece of technology in Greenland. And this is actually the pineal gland of the earth. And it's the crown of the Americas, right? When you go to the story of Loki, he is the son of the Ice Princess. The Ice Princess is the daughter of the North. That's where you get the word Notre Dame. Notre Dame means Lady of the North, right? Now, everybody keeps saying the South will rise again. Yes. Now, when the matriarchy rises, the South has to be on the top of the planet because it's the top of the planet. Not because we want it to be, but because the sun hits the top of the planet first, which we call Australia, which they call the Queensland. The Queensland is the Ashanti stool, which is the seat of the matriarchal power structure, order of the earth. The turtle of Turtle Island is actually diving to the north to the land of the ice giants. Even though Antarctica is covered in ice, it's not the home of the ice giant. Antarctica used to be a desert. It was called Tartarus. This is why they keep calling everything Tartarian. It was called Tartarus. Tartarus was the outlands of Mu or Lemuria. It's like a good way to, if you look up the word Goshen, it'll tell you it's the extreme province of Egypt. Goshen, it was the whole Middle East and the Saharan Africa, which is North Africa. Okay, everything outside of the immediate confines of the city of Egypt, not Egypt, Cairo. You had 3 cities that was there. It was Cairo, it was Luxor, and the other one became Alexandria. right? It was the three major cities. Everything from the Nile out on both sides, they call it the extreme province. That was called Goshen in Hebrew. Now, Hebrew came about in the early AD period. It's not a pre-BC language. It's not a BC language. It's an AD language. And this is why I keep telling everybody that the Old Testament is newer than the New Testament, because it's written in modern Hebrew, not ancient Hebrew, what they call Paleo Hebrew. Everything in the BC period is written in what's called Paleo Hebrew. There's no, even the Dead Sea Scrolls are not from the BC period. They are, all of that shit is in the modern Hebrew, which is post AD period. And so the Greek that the New Testament is written in, those trace back to a set of plays. 21-part play of Josephus Flavius. Remember, they didn't have no TV. They didn't have no radio. They went to concert halls. They went to plays. And then they went to sporting events, what they called the Olympiad, which was the different sporting games that they had. And the 21-part play was made up based on the Holy Drama story. And the person that they call in the Messiah is not he's the anointed one, but he ain't the one that's doing the majority of the talking. The words in the red is his mama. And they didn't took all of these pieces out of the coming forth by day to make up your words in red in this context, because they want to reframe work so they can control it. So they took these words in red, and then they said, okay, they was coming out of the book of the coming forth by day and a couple other Egyptian books. And this is why they don't like the writings of Albert Churchward or Kersey Graves and what's the other guy name? I can't think of his name right now. But it's three people that was instrumental in exposing this plot. So they take these words in red and from the Egyptian writings and transfer it over to the Greek. Now, this is what they call the Acts, right? That's why you have a book in the Bible called Acts. Acts is actually the beginning of the New Testament, and four Gospels is supposed to be the testimony of four different people, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, who was supposed to be telling their version of how they perceived the resurrection of Heru as he became anointed by his mother, Isis, to become Osiris, right? So they took this and they reworked it. And this is why I say they used it to exploit our genetic memory, because we know the story. It's like part of who we are. It's in everything. The holy drama is in the Orisha stories. The holy drama is in the motherfucking Dogon stories. The holy drama is in the Hindu stories. The holy drama is in the Chinese stories. It's there. Every culture around the world, ancient culture, had their version of the holy drama. So no matter where the heir was born on the planet, if he was indoctrinated with the literature of the culture that he's in, he's gonna encounter the holy drama somewhere. Nobody in power in the history of the world has been given the right to take the holy drama from out of the sight of the public. You gotta always tell the holy drama some way. Most of the time they give it to you in modern times, in our times, they give it to us in the form of movies. The rescue stories, the damsel in distress, the one who comes to save the day at the last minute. The B movies, as Gil Scott says, always somebody to come to save America at the last moment in a B movie. It's the same thing. So they can't get rid of the holy drama, because they'll always tell it. You can't tell a love story without telling the holy drama. You can't tell a war story. Those are the hedges. The goal in life is to start off a warrior who enters as a goddamn fool, as a motherfucking cadet. But by the time he's done, he's going to be a full-fledged fucking general. He went from the fool's journey, now he's on the hero's journey, until he becomes the king, emperor, ruler at the end of the journey. It's the culture. Every rapper tell the story when they're telling it how they see it. They're still telling the holy drama. You can't tell a story in our minds as humans and not be telling the holy drama from another angle. Every story we tell is the holy drama. It's just another rendition of it, another way of putting it. Your love stories, your Western stories, your space-age sci-fi stories, fucking The Matrix, John Wick, Jason Bourne. It's all the fucking holy drama. All of it. Cross unilaterally is all the holy drama. Once you know the story, you see it every fucking where you look. It's always in our mind. So if you got the blood, you get activated. Once you activate it, you can't not see this shit. Because it's in the blood. It's the codes in the blood. It's the DNA program. The DNA is like a piano. And the holy drama is the song it plays. So we all have to fit in according to our individual development as a role player in the collective playing out the holy drama. Some of us play it out on a microcosm and become the leader of a family of 4, right? Then some of us play it on a bigger scale where we become the president, the king, the emperor, the demigod, whatever the fuck it is. Still the holy drama. And as long as you have your DNA sequence, it's going to always come out, because the Osirian resurrection is the rule that gave Earth time. The eternity of Osiris was promised to him in cycles. Reincarnation cycles. So the father becomes the son. Then the son finds the mother and another woman. And they get together and then they make a son. And that son becomes the father. And he finds a woman that's just like his mother. Boom. And you know why he keep finding one like his mama? Because his mama picking her the whole time. He think he picking her. He ain't picking shit. Women are telepathic in the hive mind. When the rightful heirs are up for matrimony, so to speak, the women go into checking women in the area. Is she suitable? Is she attractive enough? Is she intelligent enough? Can she control her motherfucking tongue? Because most of the women in this area got to tell a motherfucker something. You got to tell a motherfucker something. But the reality is, if you got a real solid dude, he gonna tell you, baby, you ain't gotta always tell a motherfucker something. Sometimes you can let a motherfucker guess. Let them figure some shit out on their own sometime. You don't need to tell a motherfucker shit. Stop having to think you got to tell a motherfucker something. You gotta give people a right to live their own life. As long as they don't get in your lane, let them have their lane. Go into your lane. Let's stay the fuck out of my lane with that bullshit. That shit right there don't belong in my lane. As long as you keep it in your lane, more power to you. I'ma stay in mine. But when you bring that shit over here, I'm not gonna say nothing. As a woman, I'm gonna look to my masculine, and he gonna say, "Don't you say that to her no more. Stop putting shit in her lane, and the next time I got to tell you, it won't be with words. That's your final warning." But the men can't be men now because the women have been taught to take his place. So now you producing all of these bitch ass niggas. You know, and it's a sad thing for me because I love to see the little young brothers when they love the women and they see the women. And they looking at the women, and they in their age bracket, and they doing their thing, they coming of age. Shit, I remember when I went through it. So to see in its proper context a boy liking a girl and a girl liking a boy, and then there ain't no blurry lines in the middle of that shit, that's heaven on earth. That's heaven on earth. But don't let these motherfuckers drag y'all out in these streets talking about no protests. All that shit staged. And it just because we seen what looked like a lady get shot in the face, we probably didn't even see that shit. And just because it looked like they killed somebody named